And welcome along to Aston Villa from the stands. I hope you're well. Make sure you smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and most importantly, get in the comment section for your thoughts, your feelings on the latest news tonight. Enzo Barrenechea has been told you can go. Unai Emery has said he will not part of Aston Villa's plans for the coming season. That's a little bit of a shock. And second of all, the big news, Garnacho. Aston Villa apparently are interested in the transfer of Alejandro Garnacho from Manchester United, but there could involve some sort of deal and situation in with that one. And it's reported a 60 million transfer fee on that. That's some of the Aston Villa news we're going to get into today. We're also going to be going from here over to Big Up to do a watch along for the Portugal versus Spain UEFA Nations League final. So please do come get involved in that one as well. And yeah, I do apologise for the rearrangement of the lives tonight. I was making dinner, cooking with ADSTS as we do. And we slightly overran with the timings, but we got the food out for the family. They're all happy. So that's all that matters, people. So yeah, if you could do that house admin by smashing the like button and all that good stuff, and let me know how you're all feeling and doing. This is going to be a short, swift, franking, telling situation with Enzo Barrenechea. We're going to get straight into this one. And yeah, big up to Darren Meeks. Hope you're well. And yeah, big up to Captain as well in the house. Brainly Brand and 1874. Mustafa as well. Hopefully give Garnacho, we get Emmy Josh. That's the thing I do worry about, Mustafa. We're going to start on the Enzo Barrenechea story though, guys. Let's start on the Enzo situation. A really worrying, telling situation. I don't like it. I'm gonna put that one out there. I don't like it. I really, really don't like it. And the reason why I don't like it is because I think it's a really poor decision if we let this happen. So here is the story that is coming out. Now, we know Monchi said earlier in the season, well, I say early in the season, feels like early in the season, a few days ago, in his Spanish interview, that Unai Emery will make the decision and cast the decision on the future of Enzo. He said he will have a look at him in pre-season, and ultimately, though, it's up to Unai whether he wants him in the team or not. That's how it started. That's the situation. Unai Emery, we know, has been given the decision to choose whether Enzo stays or goes. Now, we all have been sort of wondering why is it that Enzo Barrenechea was signed for Aston Villa in the first place? Well, he's part of that Douglas Luiz deal with Samuel Ilan Jr. from Juventus. We loaned him straight back out to Spain, where he played for Valencia. He absolutely loved his time with Valencia. He was fantastic for Valencia, and he caught a lot of the attention of the league. And then furthermore, he's just earned himself an Argentinian call-up, in which he's in the Argentina squad right now. Pretty good story for Enzo Barrenechea. And so a lot of Villa fans are going, hey, this guy must be pretty good. Why don't we get him in? Why don't we have a look at this guy? Why don't we give him a fair crack of the whip? And why don't we get him in to bolster our squad and see how the land lies with him? Wow, people. Wow. This is the situation and news that's coming out today. And I'm going to share with you now on this one. Unai Emery has already informed Enzo Barrenechea that he will not be part of the Aston Villa team next season, thus opening the door to his permanent departure. Okay. Thoughts and feelings on this one. As again, we're not going to say this is gospel. We're not going to say that it is absolutely biblical that this is going to happen. However, it's a strong link and rumor, and a very reliable source has come out of this. By the way, the Fidget Just Net guy is a very reliable source. Now, Enzo, why is it that, I'm sat here going, why is this happening? Why is this decision being made? Clearly for me, it's a PSR sort of calculation in the fact that we can get at the price that is being touted around is 10 million for Enzo Barrenechea. That's his price that they're looking at. Now, whatever his wages are, I don't know. But when Aston Villa try and do their calculations and having to try and generate revenue, if Villa feel like that he is not going to get game time when you've got Kamara, Yuri Tillemans, Ross Barkley, Amadou Onana, and John McGinn, all who can play the double pivot, as well as the likes of Bogard, who's been able to step in there as well, then why is there room for Enzo Barrenechea? The only reason I can think that we are letting Enzo Barrenechea go is because Onana is going to stay and he's not going to go to Saudi. Now, what I can't imagine, what I cannot fathom or imagine is if we are letting Onana go to Saudi, then we're certainly not going to let Enzo go. So I look at this as a two-pronged thing. If Enzo Barrenechea is going, I think that means Amadou Onana is staying. I want to know if you agree or disagree on that one in there. And actually then, even if that's the case, who do you think is a better proposition? Do you actually think Enzo, even though we've not been able to watch him much, do you think he's someone who will actually be a better option than what it is? But I promise you, I'm shocked that the value on transfer is only 10 million. 10 million is absolutely, for me, core money. We should be looking for double that. You're looking at a holding midfielder, someone who's now got an Argentinian international cap, has played in the Serie A and La Liga for a full season, a young age as well. 10 million for me just doesn't seem right. It seems absolutely like we've had our pants pulled down on that one. Now, this is it. This is what, again, a really interesting stat. Looking at Enzo Barrenechea and FBref, it's interesting to see that across Europe's top 5 leagues in the last 365 days, the midfielder that's the second closest statistical match to him is Boubacar Kamara. I think it could be a great deputy to Kamara and learn off him. Basically, what we're being told is true. We have a ready-made Kamara replacement. Now, again, I think someone put it in the comments earlier. I don't know if it was Meeks, and big up to everyone in here. But isn't that also telling signs then that Kamara is staying? No way would we get rid of Kamara, Onana, and Enzo Barrenechea in one transfer window. We know we're waiting for Kamara to sign the thing and get a bigger deal, a lucrative contract. Whether that can happen, we'll have to wait and see. But the DM role is fascinating because, as Meeks has said, potentially Barkley can go in there, potentially Bogart can go in there, potentially McGinn, but they're all potentials. They're not absolute certainties. What we know is Kamara is our DM, and the next best is Enzo. And I think Kevin's right. Let Barrenechea go will come back to bite us 100%, especially if it's only for 10 million, chat. I just don't like it. And John Reddington said he's worth more than that. I agree. Wayne said I'd use him and sell Barkley instead. Absolutely. Again, I'm with you on that one. Even the number of expected exits, I'd not even want Garnacho as an incoming. We'll touch on Garnacho in a second. Hold that thought on that one. But yeah, big up to everyone. So Enzo Barrenechea, quite frankly, we could be saying goodbye to a potential gem. That's how I feel. That's how strongly I feel about Enzo Barrenechea, that we could be losing a real potential gem. And to perspective, I mean, Meeks has come in. I know it was PSR loophole nightmare, but we paid 10 million for Lewis Dobbin. 10 freaking million for Lewis Dobbin, who will never play for Aston Villa in the Premier League ever, yet we paid 10 mil for him. Crazy. So, look, are we going to see some dodgy dealings again with PSR? And we'll see that sort of merry-go-round of Everton, Chelsea, Newcastle, us doing some little shifting and shimmying? Maybe. But I'm going to put this on record. I think if we let Enzo Barrenechea go, it will be a huge mistake. I think that we're absolutely not using a player who is a perfect fit for the system that we want to play. And even if he's not going to be guaranteed regular game time like he wants, his time will come. Second of all, the midfielders that absolutely keep getting linked, as I said, Onana, Kamara are two midfielders that we constantly see with these stories. Even Yuri Tillemans' name comes up, Saudi. Look, for me, I think Yuri Tillemans, there's no chance of him even leaving. Kamara, I'm 95% sure he stays. Onana, I think, could be the 50-50 one. I actually think Amadou Onana to Saudi potentially could be one Villa look at and go, let's cut our losses here. And as I said, Onana, I think we saw, was on 140k a week. Something to really keep an eye on that. Okay, so let's go into then the not so nice news about Alejandro Garnacho. As I said, this is a short fire, quick story time today because we are doing the Portugal Spain Nations League final, which we'll be doing a nice watch along on Big Up. So please come and support me on that channel as well, on the Big Up. Love to see you in the comments there. But yeah, let's have a look at this. Defo prefer to give Enzo a chance. Let Barkley go. Agreed. Huge mistake. We let him go. He has potential. I'm with you. Meeks is saying we're overstacked in midfield. I don't think Onana will be the one to make room. Yeah, I don't know. Weird how Onana's been linked to Saudi. I don't get that. Thoughts on Morgan Rogers being linked to Arsenal? No, I think you told me the other day that wasn't even. Oh no, maybe it's someone else. But yeah, Morgan Rogers linked here, linked there. The only thing he's linking to is Ollie Watkins next season when he playing through balls and getting his GA up and all that stuff. That's the only link that I'm having with Morgan. I think if anyone wants to pay 100 million, then I might start listening. But apart from that, if you don't want to pay 100 million for Morgan Rogers, don't bother linking yourself to him. I'd sell Powell, Dean, and Cash, and Barkley and Bailey, and use the younger players. The wages would be better. 100% the wages would be better. Leon Bailey, by the way, couldn't even get a game for Jamaica last night. Had to come off the bench. Steve McLaren benching Leon Bailey, and Bailey having to come off the bench. Bad times for Leon Bailey, trust me. Craig Butler probably had something to say about that. Sending for the Blues, you won't get a game for them, that's true. But yeah, listen, honestly, it's a great shout with that. But let's go to Garnacho then. This is a stinky story today. And big up to everyone in the chat. Make sure you're smashing the like button on this one. As I said, I'm going to run really tight onto this until we go on to the big up. But big up to all of you guys. Alejandro Garnacho and Aston Villa is one to watch. Manchester United still value him at 60 million. This is from Ben Jacobs, by the way, who, again, I put Ben Jacobs as a silver to gold tier source, actually. You may have heard his name come up before. I know Luke from Up the Villa podcast has done something with Ben Jacobs. Ben Jacobs is a very credible source. But yeah, a 1 billion for the women's team. Snap the hands off for that. Steve McLaren, is he actually still the Jamaican manager, or have I completely made that up? Or did Rudolph Speed come up? I might be wrong, actually. Maybe McLaren. What was McLaren? Is Steve McLaren still the Jamaican international manager? And if so, but the bigger news is Leon Bailey can't even get into the Jamaican starting lineup. I looked at the starting lineup. Honestly, the players who were starting, never heard of them. Never heard of them. Cheers, Puff, for coming in and opening the door, as it was nice and quiet. Thank you. So yeah, Garnacho and Aston Villa is one to watch. Well, I bloody hope it's not one to watch. Garnacho for 60 million. People, what are your genuine thoughts and feelings around Alejandro Garnacho? First of all, is there anyone in this chat who would take him? Second of all, I don't like his attitude. I'm not a fan of Garnacho. I'll never be a fan of Garnacho. I think he's a prima donna. I think he overhypes and overrates himself. And quite frankly, Garnacho for me is a massive red flag no. I'd probably even go as far to say that I'd probably take, I don't even rate Jadon Sancho, but I'd take Jadon Sancho over Garnacho. That's how bad it is. Let me get this at them as well. So this is, again, United exclusive. Just keep an eye out of Aston Villa being interested in Garnacho. Manchester United still value Garnacho at 60 million. Right, real talk here. Real talk. Do you know what I'm scared of? Big up everyone in the chat as well. Do you know what I'm really scared of? I'm scared of the following. Garnacho being part of an Emi Martinez deal. I'm going to put that out there. I'm going to put that one out there. I'm really scared of Emi Martinez and Garnacho being part of some crazy transfer. And if that happens, my head's going to absolutely go. These United and Emi Martinez transfer situation rumours aren't going away, by the way. Another one came up today about the fact that Man United are pretty ready to cash in on Andre Onana, the goalkeeper. And the fact is they are looking to Emi Martinez. Then they might try and wangle our ears and throw Garnacho. Garnacho, obviously, for me, left winger. I think his attitude spoke everything when he didn't play in the Europa League final. And I'm pretty sure he's a toxic sort of player. I think Cristiano Ronaldo even said a comment about Garnacho, sort of saying he needs to simmer down, he needs to realise who he is. And every time I watch Garnacho, he throws himself around. I think he's a moments player at best. He'll have one moment that will go on a highlights reel, like he scored that worldie at Goodison Park that time, and that's what you're going to get. But he's nothing more than an average winger for me. I don't see him. In fact, let's quickly get his stats up. Let's get Garnacho's stats up. I reckon they're absolutely appalling. I reckon Alejandro Garnacho's stats are appalling. Why do I not just type in Garnacho? Alejandro Garnacho stats. Here we go. How bad? Here we go. Garnacho. Here's Garnacho's stats for you. Yeah, he's basically a Steven Gerrard type player. A moment of magic. That's what he is. So Garnacho. 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 So in the Europa League, which he kept a massive fuss about, 15 matches, 1 goal, 4 assists. But I thought he was so key to that United Europa League campaign. So 1 goal, 4 assists. You're having a laugh. It's those Premier League stats right there, people. 36 matches, 6 goals, 2 assists, 8 GA in 36. Are you having a laugh? Alejandro Garnacho, are you actually having a laugh? The only thing I can say about Garnacho is, right, if I want to try and paint a better picture, is he's only 20 years old. Something I probably haven't taken into account as much, that he is 20 years old. And he's played 2 lots of seasons of 36 appearances. So if I was to be an optimist, okay, because this is what I'm going to go with. I'm going for a bit of optimism, okay, about if we were to land Garnacho. My optimism would be he's 20 years old. He's played 2 back-to-back 36-game seasons, so his injury record seems pretty good. Furthermore, he's had a 7 GA and an 11 GA and a 8 GA season. United have been dusty in terms of that. Unai Emery, young talent. He's got the best out of Morgan Rogers, the same Jacob Ramsey. There's probably a bit of scope there. And finally, I'm trying to paint a positive. Maybe, just maybe, long-term value at 20, he could be exceptional. However, I think everyone knows in this chat right now, if you were to ask all of us, Emi Martinez plus money for Garnacho, it's just not the one, is it? It's just not the one. I think we'd all feel a little bit of, uncomfortable nature, should I say, around that. So, listen, people, I don't know. I don't know on this one. I think the price tag at 60 million, let's just rule that out straight away. Villa will not be dropping 60 million on Alejandro Garnacho. Not a chance in hell. Number 2 is if this deal is going to happen, it's going to be part of some dodgy dealing, I'm sure. And number 3 is I don't want Garnacho. And I showed a picture of him. Heidi's never watched Garnacho, or she might have seen him. I showed a picture of Garnacho to Heidi, and she was just like, that bloke didn't look right. She's just like, that's a bad character. So there we go. That's all you need to say. So that's all you need to say about it. But I just wonder if we're going to have more unfold for that and a swap deal could be in line. Now, what I am going to say finally before we wrap up is we are going to go into the big up in a second. There's one more piece of news I want to quickly show you. I think someone asked in chat, Alan Ford, about the Espanyol keeper. No, he's going to Barcelona. That is absolutely looking dead cert. Joan Garcia to Barcelona. But here is an interesting one. There's a rumour going around about a potential DM. Again, we're talking about Enzo Barrenechea. Here is another player that could be coming to Villa in a cheaper version. Okay. Aston Villa, one of multiple teams interested in signing 19-year-old defensive midfielder Valentin Atanga. He plays for Stade Reims, who've just been relegated from League One, and they're looking for around 10 million. So French youngster, international, and potentially, as I said, 10 million or cheaper. But again, the big question is going to be, if we're going for someone of 10 million value or lower and is a defensive midfielder, and we've already got someone in Enzo Barrenechea, then what on earth are we doing? What on earth are we doing? But this name, Valentin Atanga, it's been popping up a lot on my feed recently, and with Villa's name linked to that. So something just to bear truth to and keep an eye on that one. But there we go. So let's see on that. But listen, as I said, this was a short and sweet one today. We will be back, as I said, doing our weekly live streams of all the Villa news. As I said, the transfer news is just nuts. Unfortunately, we haven't had any of the big guns. We haven't had Fabrizio or Ornstein comment on anything. But what I am going to say is wait till the international period finishes. Wait till Emi Martinez comes back from Argentina. And genuinely, I think we're going to see some Ornstein / Fabrizio Romano big news on Emi, whether he stays or goes. I think that's where we're at. But yeah, the Lille keeper, Chevalier, looks like the one. Alan Formolo says, I'd love to see, I'm not even going to say his name, Hugo at the Villa Park. I've said this, I don't think he's going to sign, but second of all, the reason why I don't want him to sign is because I can't say his name, his surname. I know him as Hugo. All right, gang. Big love to all of you. Up the Villas in the chat and all that jazz. we are going to go watch the Nations League final. Let me know who you want to win. Are you Portugal or are you Spain? I think Spain might clean them up today. So let me just put this link in. So people, can I get at least 15 of you in here for a little bit of a, can you comment up the Villa on this link that I'm just putting in the chat? Or Viva Ronaldo, or Viva Yamal, or something, whatever you want. But can I get 15 comments on that feed? I'm going to show you right now. It's right here. Right here. You're going to come over to this link, get in this chat. Get in this chat. I'm going to do this for start. Viva Ronaldo. I'm going to put that in the chat for start. Viva Ronaldo. My big up. Okay. So yeah, we're going to put that. Come and get in the comments in there on that link. And I would massively appreciate that. Let's get you over on that chat for the big up. And we're going to divert over to there. I wish I could redirect, but I can't. But yeah, absolute captain. So come over to the big up. I'm crashing out on this. We're going to do more Villa news tomorrow. As always, live and direct. Much love. Will I be there on time, Meeks? You know I've got to go get a quick drink, but I'll be there. Meeks, keep the chat hosted and entertained. Drop a few jokes in there and all that jazz. Big up to Lee Wilson as well. Starry's going mad because she wants to see her hero Ronaldo. So I better put the TV on for him right now so she can have that. Because she absolutely loves Ronaldo and she's going nuts at me. And we can't be having that. So yeah, big up to everyone. Up the bloody Villa. That's the Villa news for today. Enzo Barrenechea and Garnacho. Get your ass over to Big Up right now, people. Click this link. You won't regret it. And come say hello in the chat. I'm out of here. Ta-da.